Welcome to the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm your host, Betsy Leonidas, and the founder of the Write Your Own Story company. Girl, I can tell you right now, you are definitely enough. Here we value service, sisterhood, connection, laughter, and that super genuine, keep it real, tell you like it is honesty. My hope is at the end of each episode, you realize you can do whatever it is you dream about and that you are not alone with what you struggle with. I'm hoping that you are snapping and clapping and hell yes in your way through each one of these episodes. So if this tracks with you, let's get started. I'm so glad you're here. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm your host, Betsy Leonidas, and it's just me today. Today, I want to talk to all my female entrepreneurs out there, no matter where you are in your journey. I know that pricing and talking about money and asking for the sale, no matter if it's day 0 or day 100, it's hard. It's so hard. I mean, you spend months building the thing, right? And as soon as you have to go to price it, your stomach drops. It still happens to me every single time. I want you to know you are not alone. I think today's episode really is all about pricing for profitability and most importantly, for finding the courage to ask for it. I think talking about money is just so hard for women in general. I think assigning a dollar value to something that you built, which is essentially feels really close to that worth conversation. Truly, what is the widget that you built? What is that worth? And how does that reflect your personal worth? It is a loaded weapon, but it is so critical to face this head on because you're building a business and it is not sustainable without profitability. And we know, guys, that profitability is very different than revenue. We can get all the sales we want. We can sell 1 million of the things or book 1 million clients. But if you haven't priced for profitability and you're just covering your costs, or heaven forbid, you're not even covering your costs, your business will never be sustainable. And then it's just going to drain you. So I'm really excited today to kind of dive into what is it about pricing that is so hard? Why is it so important? And why is it so hard to ask for the sale? And just some sound bites for what really might help move the needle for you. So let's dive in. Okay, let's start with why is pricing so hard? And I was doing some research on this and I read one thing where I was like, oh, that feels like a bullet to the chest. Pricing is so hard because it's not just a number. It's a boundary. It is a boundary for what you're willing to accept for the transaction that you're going to have for your business. And we know how us girls feel about boundaries. Don't like them. They make me sweaty. I don't want to talk about them. I'm getting better at them, but that doesn't mean that every single time it's not uncomfortable. And I very much know that I am not alone in this. But if you think about it, we also know deeply, inherently, that boundaries are so important. If we think about the boundaries in our life, they are for our safety, they're for our security, they're for our happiness, they're for our well-being, and pricing is a boundary for your business. And so please know that when your stomach drops, when you go to assign a price to that beautiful thing that you have spent months building, you are setting a boundary of what you will accept for it. And you're setting a boundary for how you're going to show up for your business and price this to the world. Easier said than done, right? We want to be seen as reasonable. We want to be seen as agreeable, absolutely terrified of rejection. Oh God, what if someone judges me? What if someone says, oh my God, you really think that your thing is worth this much? I don't know. First of all, whoever is like that mean in real life and would say that, I mean, maybe they would say, sure, oh, I don't know if that's right for me. I don't know if I'm willing to pay that for that. But that horrible, mean voice that sits in our head that is like, oh, you really think that your thing is worth that much? You really think it's that good? That is just your internal fear talking, your absolute core of being terrified for being judged. People don't think that way. Sure, you may be overpriced for someone, or the thing you built might not just be just right, but that just means that they're not the right client for you. And if they feel that way, it is not a reflection of your worth, your ability to price, how smart you are, how good you are. It's a them thing, and it doesn't make them a bad person either. It's just not the right thing for them. That's cool. We've all had so many instances in our life where something hasn't been right for us. So I really want you to think about, okay, when your stomach drops, when you go to price the thing, openly recognize, yes, this is so hard. There goes my stomach again, because God, we all know that like flow state of building the thing, writing the thing, creating the thing. And then here comes pricing. And then there goes the flow. Here comes the stomach drop. I want you to remember that this is a boundary. This isn't just a number. It's a real boundary. And we're going to get into why it's so important to set this boundary. But I know we've talked about it top line. It's so important because this builds the sustainability of your business. And also, this is out of respect for your intelligence, for your experience, for your expertise, for your creativity, for your drive, for your hard work. And so we need to release those fears of judgment, of rejection, of not feeling likable or agreeable. And we need to put pen to paper and figure out what that proper price is and take those fears and tell them to kiss it and realize that you're setting an important boundary for your business. But yes, let's all pause and just acknowledge that this is so hard. So next time you go to set the price and you're like, this is so hard, you know that you are not alone, that this is research backed as to why it is so hard. And that is okay, but you can also move through it. I am here to tell you, you absolutely can. And I'm rooting for you. I have to tell you, I'm literally obsessed with my Oura Ring 4. Honestly, my Apple Watch was way too much noise for me. Stand up, sit down, you have a meeting, you're late, your steps are low, breathe, all the things. But this little ring has been an absolute game changer. It doesn't just track my sleep, it helps me actually rest better. Every morning, I get insights into my recovery, my readiness for the day, and whether my body needs more downtime. It even tracks my steps, my cycle, and literally so much more. If you're someone who loves data, cares about your health, and also loves cute jewelry, this ring is for you. This is a gentle reminder, backed by science, that rest is just as important as hustle. Unlock this powerful tool for better sleep, less stress, and smarter recovery with Oura Ring 4. Use my link in the show notes to get 10% off your Oura Ring today. When you're in those moments where you're like, okay, fine, I will do the thing. I will do the pricing. I'm not just going to live in the flow state of building the thing. Now I'm going to go price the thing. If your business can't support you, and the way your business is supported is through income and profitability, your business will drain you. We all know this. I mean, yeah, sure, we can work without making a profit for a while. We know that when we start a business, that's absolutely the case. We are going to be building something that isn't going to be profitable for a while. It takes 2 to 5 years as a total business to become profitable. But when we start breaking down our products and our services and having to assign price to them, that is what's going to bring in revenue, which is going to cover your cost, which is what is going to be your profitability. And so it is so critically important that you make a business, you give your business a chance to even be profitable based on your pricing and based on your ability to ask for the sale so that it can be sustainable. If your business isn't sustainable, it will drain you. Here are some traps. Again, we talked about, I want to be reasonable. I want to be agreeable. You're guessing on what people are going to say yes for. And when you just want to hear the yes, and oh my gosh, don't we all just want to hear the yes, you are walking away from what is the cost that covers my expenses. Am I paying for my time? Am I paying myself a salary? Am I paying my employees? And am I building for sustainability? So it is so important to remember that you are pricing not just for sales, but you're pricing for profitability. So one trap, as we know, is that you're just dying for the yes. The other one is maybe you're pricing for an old version of yourself. Maybe you're pricing for a wounded version of yourself that didn't think you were worthy enough to even start this business. Maybe you're pricing for yourself and you're going low because you've been rejected, or, your feelings have been rejected, or you were around emotional instability. And so the idea of rejection is deeply painful at the core wound level. Maybe you are self-conscious because you were in a corporate setting where you never had to price, but you were able to be given a salary and you knew exactly how much your worth was because it was evaluated and a cost assigned to it. But now you have to set those numbers and parameters and boundaries for yourself. Woof. All of this is hard, and it's so important. If you can't price right, and if you can't ask for the sale, then you cannot be sustainable, which that is a boundary that you need to hold for yourself, because unless you can show up for that dream of yours, then what are you doing here? I always say I've reframed discipline because no one wants to do the hard stuff. No one wants to do the pricing. No one
wants to ask for the sale. We just want to build the things. At least I'm speaking for myself. But if I don't be disciplined enough to show up and ask for the sale and to get my price right in a way that will make my business sustainable, then I'm not showing up for myself. And if I can't show up for myself, how can I expect anybody else to show up for me? How can I expect customers and clients to show up for me? How can I expect the people I love or want to be loved by to show up for me? So step one, show up for yourself. Again, if you are fearful of being rejected, remember, if someone doesn't choose you or what you offer, it is not personal. It is something for them. That doesn't mean that they're bad or anything like that. It just means what you offer isn't something that they're interested in. And that is perfectly fine. They're not your people, and that is totally okay. That doesn't mean they can't root for you and cheer for you. It just means they're not wanting to buy the one thing right now. And the last thing I want to talk about is, why are sales so stinking hard? Sales are so hard. I am the most extroverted, outgoing. I talk for a living. I can have a conversation with a wall, but having to actually be in a sales role or to do sales types things makes me so insanely, wildly uncomfortable. I'm sure, actually, I know that all of those fears that we've outlined in the beginning of the show and, over the past 10 minutes or so are exactly why I hate sales. And as a woman, I've been conditioned to not talk about money. I don't want to seem greedy. I don't want to seem ungrateful. I don't want to talk about the uncomfortable thing. I don't want to make people uncomfortable by feeling like they have to say yes, because I put them in a position where now they have to have an uncomfortable conversation with me and maybe say no. I don't know why. I'll have to really think about that and probably have to do an episode on it. It feels so deeply uncomfortable to make someone else uncomfortable. And I have assigned the sales conversation as an uncomfortable conversation for both of us. And that has got to go. It's got to go. I know for sure that you will get 0 sales if you don't ask for anything. And we can build the biggest, bestest online platforms, but if you don't ask for the sale, no one's adding to cart, no one's checking out, no one's closing out. If you are offering a service, if you aren't making the discovery calls, getting into people's DMs, sending out emails, asking your network to support you, you are getting 0 sales. So no matter what your challenge is with sales, you got to get over it. I got to get over it, because unless we have sales, our business does not sustain, and then our dream has to close. So it's time to get real tough on sales. If you are a girly who is offering a discount from the jump, who is quick to over-explain, who feels the urge to justify why their price is what it is, this is the conversation that you need to listen to. First of all, I gave all those specific examples based on own personal experience and research. So please know, if you're just like your shoulders are slumping and you're getting shorter in your chair when you're hearing that description, you are literally not alone. Those are built on conversations with many women, with myself, and then with additional research. Those are very common things. We are so quick to offer the discount because we're like, just so you know, I really like you. I hope you really like me. So maybe we can do that. Or we just want to over explain and justify why the sale is. If you're in that zone in a discovery call or in a sales conversation, it's time for a serious reframe, and it's time to put your big girl pants on, which means putting down your fear and getting to the real conversation. Your base of customers may be smaller to start, but then referrals will start to roll in. The worst thing that you can do for your business is start attracting people that aren't your real customers anyway. And the way that you attracted them was by discounting your price and flexing on what your actual offer is. You built the thing. Stand by the thing. Hey, fellow boss babe, if you're craving less time on social because it feels like you're constantly in your comments and DMs trying to respond back to your potential customers, I totally get it. When I had my e-commerce business, I felt like I checked Instagram every 5 minutes. But what if there was a smarter, easier way to connect with your audience? Good news, there is. Let me introduce you to ManyChat, my go-to tool for automating messages on Instagram, Facebook, and even text. With ManyChat, you can set up automated conversations in minutes. No tech headaches, no coding required. Trust me, if I can figure it out, so can you.
It's perfect for handling links to your offers, growing your list with DM keywords, and even booking clients literally while you sleep. It's efficient, super user-friendly, and honestly, it's like having a virtual assistant built right into your DMs. And the best part? Because you're a friend of the Write Your Own Story podcast, you can try it totally free for your first month. Just use the link in the show notes. Is there anything better than to test something for your business for an entire month with no cost attached? It's my favorite. So if you're ready to save time, respond faster, and turn followers into clients, tap the link in the show notes and give ManyChat a try for free. First month's on me. Grab the offer today and go enjoy a much needed break from your phone. You deserve it.
I mean, what would you say to your kid if they built this amazing thing and they were going to sell it, or your best friend, and then they were like doubting themselves like crazy and terrified to even ask for the sale? And when they did, they were like, actually, you know what? Let me just give you a discount. It would be so hard to watch. So I like to keep that lens when it goes to actually asking the sale. One reframe that I really love is that this is an invitation. It's not a demand. If you've gotten as far as someone is on your website looking at the thing ready to buy out, you've invited them in to see the wonderful thing that you have created. If you've gotten as far to be in the discovery call to say, hey, I'd love to tell you all about what I do, or let me get some, you're like getting intake from learning about their problem, and then you say, here's how I can help. It's an invitation to work together, and it's sort of a, hey, I'd love to work with you and support you. Or it's, hey, I've listened and I'm not the person for you. But it's really truly an invitation for discussion. And then it's kind of a take it or leave it in like a very open, wonderful, positive way. And if someone says no, you just have to reframe to yourself, that's perfectly okay. You're not the right customer for me, or maybe it's not the right time. And all of those things are out of your control. And it's time to move on to find the next one. And then we all know what it's like to be a client or a consumer or customer and love something, to actually say yes, experience something, and want to tell everyone about it. So that referral is why you have to be so diligent on being patient to find the right customers. So again, pricing is so hard. We know why it's so hard, but now we also know why it's so important. We've talked about why sales are so hard, but why sales are so important, and some reframes that sit behind it. And I know this is all at sort of the high top level, but this is exactly why I have built the Female Founders webinar series. And because I want to break down, it's once a month, and I want to break down what are the most common and most challenging things that female entrepreneurs face, which is why I'm so excited to host the Pricing for Profitability webinar with Cheryl Ann Skalinki. She is one of my favorite people to work with. We're actually in very similar spaces. I'm obsessed with her because her energy is absolutely palpable. She whips you into shape in the most positive, direct way. She's all about reframing sort of what it means to be ambitious and how to sort of have it all, including your well-being. So we are very aligned in that sense. But she is a mentor of mine, and I have leaned on her in this space specifically, which is why I asked her to host, because this part's really uncomfortable for me too. But we are going to get all into the nuts and bolts of pricing and how to find your confidence. No more apologizing, no more second guessing. How much time do we spend in the pricing space second guessing the numbers that we've come up with? And how are we going to get into owning our own value? So I'm so excited. So for all the women out there who are having a hard time finding their number and wish that there was just kind of like a core formula that they could figure out how to price with, we are absolutely going to work through that. If there's also the woman out there who is like, okay, I know how to price, or I understand now how to price, but God, I wish I felt more confident talking about it, or feeling like, yes, that's 100% the right number, and would love to stop second guessing themselves, this is the webinar for you. And if there is the woman out there who is like, I hate sales, I hate asking for it, it's the most icky, yucky, most uncomfortable thing for me. Hi, same. And this webinar is for you. So it is going to be on February 19th from 12:30 to 2. That's a Thursday. It's a live discussion. So Cheryl Ann and I will talk about sort of like the overarching, almost like the behind the scenes podcast interview. And then we will get into like live virtual discussion. You'll be able to ask us both questions. We'll be able to solve real problems. And what I love about these is the questions that women are brave enough to ask and discussions that women are willing enough to be part of, the other women on the call are all benefiting from it, whether they weren't ready to ask those questions themselves, or they didn't even know that they needed to ask those questions or be a part of discussion. So I really, truly invite you guys to come hang out with us. Again, hopefully it's during like a lunch hour-ish type thing, 12:30 to 2, Thursday, February 19th. We are all back from President's Day things. We're going to do framework for pricing and a framework for confidence and very actionable steps about how to move through your discomfort and find your path forward. So I am so excited. This is such an important topic. It gets to our worth. It gets to our confidence around money, our ability to have uncomfortable conversations. I always say entrepreneurship is like a life assignment, and so many of these things truly align with the core issues that we sort of struggle with internally. And so I am just, like, as you can tell, hypercharged about this one. I've talked about it a lot on the show, and now I want to bring it to everyone also in a real live discussion. So again, Thursday, February 19th, 12:30 to 2. The way you register is head over to writeyourownstory.co/webinar. And then you can see all the webinars that are offered, and you just check out February's, which is all about pricing for profitability. You guys, thank you so much for listening. Cheryl Ann, I cannot wait to host this with you. For all of those who are feeling super seen right now, I hope that it lets you let the air out of the balloon a little bit, just to know that you are not alone with what you struggle with. This is one of the hardest parts about being an entrepreneur, but it's also one of the biggest opportunities. This is where you show up for yourself with a strong boundary and show up for your business with a strong boundary so that it can be sustainable, so that your dream of owning this business, you're doing the thing, can live long-term. All right, you guys, don't forget to check out the webinar, writeyourownstory.co/webinar. Check out the February one, sign up, grab your spot. It's February 19th. Cannot wait to see you there. And thank you everyone for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Well, that's the end of this episode, but promise me, you won't stop here with whatever it is you're feeling or dreaming about. I hope you leave today feeling empowered to live life just as you see fit. If this podcast was helpful to you, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on. I genuinely just want to help women live the life they dream about. So if this type of content tracks with you, subscribe to this podcast or visit our website, writeyourownstory.co, to download digital courses or to grab a journal and a mug to just dream in and dream with. It's your life, lady. Do you. And just remember, I'm rooting for you, and you've totally got this.